Love, peace and love. Welcome back, my knockers. Welcome back. Welcome back. All right, today we're gonna switch gears a little bit, and we're gonna start talking about the human body, what you made of. Before I do that, I gotta go back a little bit on this space thing. NASA, man, it's not gonna be over with. Man. I ain't even. I'm sitting there thinking like there's so much stuff I left out, man. Like I knew I left out a lot, and it started coming to me. I was like, oh man. But I just want to say this one thing. I want people to think about this. It's the math. Why is the math important? The math is the the proof that all of this stuff exists, right? Math is the proof. They give you calculations, the formulas, and all that, and they can prove through that, writing that stuff down, typing it out, or whatever, that the math is right. Okay. What I'm saying is they have actually used the math against us because the math does tell a big truth, except it's presented to you to give you the lie. Hence, this Milky Way galaxy photo. It's all CGI. It's not even there. It's not real. They can keep showing it to you though, cause you're never gonna see it. And man, the colors of the rainbow, like they just stand out. It's really the chakra. You see outside at the top, you see the purple, the light, and as you go in, you see the red. They're giving it to you. They're giving it to you. It's right there. I just wanted to say that. That's because I talked about it before. I put it in the description, except I didn't really. And right now, I'm really not expressing how important it is, how important the math is to do what they do. This is why they won't mess with it. This is why, no matter if they change it to the imploding universe, the expanding universe, going at half a million miles an hour around the Milky Way galaxy or whatever, the math is not going to change. Like literally, we're being dragged supposedly around the Milky Way galaxy by the sun, and we're rotating around the sun while the sun is dragging us, and we're keeping up with it, so we're slowly getting away from it. Excuse me. Even when they called it the imploding universe, I was waiting for them to change the math. Well, I said, okay, then they changed their mind and said, no, it's not that, it's this. So I was waiting for the math to start changing slightly, because like the math is real important. If you're off a little bit on landing on the moon, with the math, then you're gonna end up floating in space. And they did a whole movie about how important the math was. They did a whole movie, and they had 3 black women up there talking about how they was responsible for the math. Now I'm gonna ask you this: had anybody heard about these black women before this movie? I ain't never heard of them. All the pro-black stuff I done listened to, like doing Martin Luther King time and Malcolm X, and like, just over the year, none of these leaders. Jesse, I ain't never heard about these 3 black women that did this math for NASA. Maybe they was just a hidden gem, a hidden story. Somebody brought it out, I guess. I don't know. To me, it's all suspect. It's all suspect. I don't trust none of it. I've been here in this place long enough to watch them and watch the pattern that they follow. It's a pattern here. Everything that they're doing is a pattern. It's a sequence of events. We think they're random actions. They're not. It's all planned and coordinated actions. It's like watching the Three Stooges. It looked like they bumbling idiots, except they plan that whole thing out. You know what I'm saying? It's a routine they got worked out. They know how to do what, and everybody's ready, and they're right there on cue. It's the same thing. It's right there in front of you. Anyway, though, enough of that, because we gonna always have time to go talk about how they lying. We're gonna always have time, always. I want to switch it up a little bit, and I want to talk about the human body. This is one of my favorite subjects when I was in school. Learning what the human body was made of. Just facts about the body in itself. Learning the body. I was real interested. So people on this awakening process, for us, it's always the questions. It's always the questions. That's what makes us different from the average person. See, the average person see the daylights, the sunset and sunrise has changed, and they make up excuses and they ignore it. We see it and we wonder what the fuck is going on. What's happening? What's really going on? We try to find the answer. We asking people what's going on. We can't let it go. We see it. We know it's changed. Eventually we all get used to it. Except we know it's changed. We remember that. It's going to always stay there and it's always going to be stuck. And we're going to always have the questions there in our heads. The people not on this path, not on this journey, they don't have that question. They can make up some excuse. They'll believe whatever they're told about it. Doesn't even matter. It's not going to make them any more money. It's not going to get them the house. It's not going to put them in that car that they want or in that job that they want. You know what I'm saying? It's not going to gain them any more respect. It's not going to gain them any more admiration. So it's really some what they call useless information. Except it pertains to your world. And I forgot one thing about that NASA thing. I should have been over here looking at my notes. When I was younger, the stars did not move across the sky. September 3rd, 2019 was the first day I saw the stars move across the sky. It was that night. And I was like, nah. It was like a half-hour interval. I had gone outside on my balcony, come back in. About 30 minutes later, I go back outside. I look at the stars again. And I was like, hold up. Did they move? Now, I've been looking at Orion, the Big Dipper, and Little Dipper, like, pretty much all my life. Like, randomly, I'll be somewhere and I can pick it out. And I get a sense of where I am. Depending on what time of year it is, I can tell what direction it is by looking at the stars. And that night, I saw it, and I was like, nah, this cannot be right. I was like, I'm going to come back about an hour later and look again. Fell asleep. Woke up about 3 o'clock in the morning, man, and went out and looked, and the stars were all the way across the sky. I was like, how could that be? Messed me up, man. I had never seen that before, and I've been looking at the stars for years. I had never seen that before. And the first thing I thought of was, how did the ships sail the seas and navigate by the stars if the stars were always moving? You see what I'm saying? If the North Star was moving, how you use the stars to navigate? We all grew up learning about that, right? In history, these explorers used the stars to navigate. They had all these maps mapped out about the stars and where they're going to be certain times of the year, and like they traveled by using the stars, right? I remember growing up, hearing about the slaves running away and them traveling by using the North Star when they can see the sky. You know what I mean? And I'm sitting there thinking, like, how are you using the sky, the stars, to navigate if they always moving? That'd be like using a road map that's always moving. Like your exit would always be moving. For those of you who don't know about road maps, we used to go stop by the store while we were traveling, get this road map of where you are. Usually it was free. Little road map of where you are, so you know where you're going. You know what highway to take and all that stuff. If the map was moving the whole time, how would you ever get to where you were going? You see what I'm saying? Like, it would seem like you be going in the wrong direction if you following the stars and the stars are moving. Anyway, yeah, you got the pyramids. The pyramids are aligned with the stars, right? Perfectly aligned. That's one of the fascinating things about the pyramid, how perfectly aligned they are with the stars and supposedly the spherical earth, right? So if the stars are moving, how can they be aligned with them? You see what I'm saying? Don't quite work, right? The pyramid's still and the stars are moving. Then you got the Georgia Guidestone, which is another thing. Like, they destroyed that, and supposedly, and I'm gonna have to do a little more research about that. Now, supposedly, the Georgia Guidestones had a hole in it that allowed you to see Polaris all year round because it don't move, because it's always there and it don't move. And that got destroyed a few years ago. I can't remember the exact date of when it got destroyed, but that was destroyed a few. Excuse me. That was destroyed a few years ago, and I didn't really know much about the Georgia Guidestones. I thought it was a really old structure or something. I never paid any attention to the Georgia Guidestones. I didn't know that they were built in the 80s. I didn't know that some rich person built those Georgia Guidestones, cost them about $100,000, and nobody knows who it was. That inscription that was on there. Nobody knows who it was, who did it. And the whole thing about one story was it was hit by lightning, I heard, and then like it was a bomb. Somebody planted a bomb. Then they had video of somebody planting the bomb. I don't think anybody ever got caught. I don't know. I didn't really keep up with it. The whole thing was just suspect and weird. And the inscription as well. So yeah, we're gonna have to look into that one day. But I just wanted to say that about the stars and whatnot, the stars moving, because that is one of the other things I was mentioning before, you seeing the stars. So if you ever get a chance, go out at night and see the stars, if you can see them, because a lot of nights it's cloudy. And here's the thing, when I noticed it, see, sorry about that. I've always been able to see the Big Dipper and Little Dipper from where I am. I've been here for years now. And after I noticed that, the same day, like I noticed I could not see the Big Dipper and Little Dipper. I could only make out Orion. That's what I always look for, like where is it in the sky? So yeah. And ever since then, I haven't been able to see them from where I'm at. Now, I've seen them. They're still there. It's like something's changed, though. Even with Orion, I don't see all the same stars I used to see from my vantage point here. You see what I'm saying? And I've seen it that way for years. I've been able to. Now, even when we had all those years where it was like, if you ever noticed, it was like real cloudy at night. As soon it's like, depending on where you were in this area, it got real cloudy at night. It seemed like as soon as nighttime came, all these black clouds would come in, and they had all this lightning that was going on, and there was no thunder with a lot of it. And they was explaining how lightning happens with no thunder, except the lightning was all purple and you never saw any of it actually strike the ground. It was just in the clouds. It never struck the ground or anything. You know, and even when there was thunder, it didn't sound like thunder. Thunder has like this vibrational thing with it, like you feel thunder when you hear it. Like when thunder strikes, it's striking the ground, like there's this vibration with it. Lightning strikes, you hear the thunder, it's striking the ground. Do you feel this vibration when you hear the thunder? If you ever pay attention, just pay attention to, I'm telling you, you feel this vibration. What we were hearing at that time, the thunder, so-called thunder, because it didn't even really sound like thunder. It was just like these loud noises in the sky. It was weird. It's real weird. there was no vibration with it, no nothing. It was real weird. I've seen it before. It happened when we were younger, and they went through the same thing, explaining this, how it's lightning in the clouds, except it just don't make sense. Something about it just don't make sense to me. It's like it's something real suspicious about that, like the way it looked and everything. Like, and like I said, you didn't actually see lightning. All it was the clouds were lighting up like it was lightning, except it was like orange. And they came on the news. They tried to explain their way out of this. You know what I'm saying? Over the years, they've done this before. They explain why it looks like that or whatnot. Except when you watch it, look, it's suspect. And then when it was happening, like, it'll be a clear sky all day, and then right before it gets dark, as it's getting dark, all these clouds start rolling in. You don't really notice them at first. When it gets dark, then you look up, you can't see the stars. It's like, why? Because it's so daggone cloudy. Kept wondering why I couldn't see the stars, and then you see the lightning, and then you see this so-called lightning, and then you see how many clouds are in the sky, and they're like these thick black clouds. I'm like, it's crazy. At least they look that way. You know what I'm saying? At least they appeared to be that way. But yeah, I just want to drop that in there about the sky and whatnot, because I'm gonna tie that all in with the Mandela effect and what they're doing with CERN and natural occurrences, this reset that we're going through right now. This is not the end of the reset. Like, it's not over yet. We're going through the reset. It is still resetting. That's why things are changing. And more things are changing and more things are happening. And as they happen, these people are also going to disguise what's happening, so it looks like something else. So when you see it, you won't think that's like, it'll be the last thing that comes to someone's mind who does not recognize what's going on, that does not know about the reset, that don't understand it, doesn't know about the Mandela effect or what they're doing at CERN and what the possible outcomes could be for what they're doing at CERN, that type of thing. They're gonna believe whatever the news puts out. It's like the sunset and sunrise. The news ain't addressed it. You ain't heard nobody address that yet. If you work outside or you're out and about at that time between 9 and 8 o'clock during the summer, you understand that it didn't get dark until like 9:30, 9:15, you know. And when we were growing up, the street lights came on at about 8 o'clock, 8:15. By 8 o'clock, you start making your way home so you can be somewhere around the house by like 8:15 at least. And it depends on what day it is, because you might want to watch your show at 8 o'clock. You see what I'm saying? Everybody knew what time your shows were coming on and everything. And before we even got ready to leave, we'd be like, what day is it? Oh, I got a few more minutes. Martin ain't coming on tonight. And Living Color ain't coming on tonight. I got a little more time. Come on, man. Come on, man. We know. But anyway, yeah, we're gonna talk about that later on. Enough of that right now. Let's go ahead and jump into this human body. So like I was saying, when they teach you in school about the human body and they talk about what it's made up of, what is the human body made of, they teach you about what 97% of it is made of, and they say the other 3% is miscellaneous. Now, they've changed it since then. Last time I looked it up, it was now it's 99% what the human body is made up of, and there's 1% is miscellaneous now. So they're changing it because they want you to believe more of the human body is only made of these things, and that's it. And they leave the part, the 1% out there, the miscellaneous part, so that way people can say that, well, they don't know what we're made of. We could be aliens. Who built the pyramids? We built the pyramid. We probably the aliens. We came from somewhere else and we waiting on the mothership to come pick us up. You see what I'm saying? Or, well, they say we come from monkeys and the DNA prove it and we got a common gene and all this other stuff. Yeah, so we monkeys. All this stuff. And I'm going to get into Charles Darwin too. I'm going to say this, go ahead and say this now. Charles Darwin was a racist. His book was racist. They changed a lot of things about it, and they taught it to everybody. And they called it the theory of evolution. It didn't start out that way. We're going to get into Charles Darwin. I might get into him a little bit today, but I just want to say that this whole thing, because this whole monkey thing, oh, man. I'm telling you, that I can't stand. Look, what they doing with this, and you're going to see in a minute, because I'm explaining this. I'm explaining this to you about this human body thing, what I found out. So, yeah, but I just want to drop that in. So prepare yourself. I'm going to talk cash, money, trash about Charles Darwin. Him and Santa Claus. They running neck and neck for first place in my book. They running neck and neck. But yeah, so they teach us about what it's made up of, and I usually give you about 11, 12 elements they say we come from, and you know, if you look it up on the internet, you might get as many as 16. You might find some of these trace elements, and here's the other thing: they've come to find new trace elements that they did not know about before that they're saying are natural. It started off at like 91 or 92, and over the years they added in these trace elements of the earth that they say are natural. This has always been my theory of these new trace elements they keep finding. This is my theory. I don't think they're natural. I think they're byproducts of things that have been unnaturally done in this place over the years. And since they find these things out here in nature now, they're trying to say it's natural. This is my theory. I don't know a whole lot about it, but I'll be honest with you. What elements they found, where they find them at, or anything. Be honest with you. I just remember it was like 94 back in the day, and now last time I looked, it was like 98 or something. And this is what I'm saying about the lie. The lie gotta change. The truth don't never change. The truth is what it was. It's always gonna be that. 2 + 2 is gonna be 4, and it's gonna stay 4. The lie always gotta keep switching up, because somebody gonna keep poking and prodding at the lie until you gotta switch up and say something else. You see what I'm saying? You ever told a lie before and somebody be trying to figure out if you lying or not, and they just keep asking you questions? You know what I mean? Like, well, I thought you said, well, that I did do that. I also did this, but you said, you know, the whole back and forth. So that's what happens with a lie. And the whole watching us, they trying to see how much of this stuff we figuring out and who figuring it out. Literally. That's part of the reason they watching us. And learning your every move, you know what I'm saying? Your emotion, trying to predict what you'll do and what you won't do. That whole thing about never let them know your next move. Oh, yeah. See, they flipped it up and had just people just doing stupid stuff. But really, like, they got an algorithm out that can predict what you going to do. So in order to break that algorithm, get past it, you got to do something different. You got to be... And it don't mean I'm going to wear different clothes today. No, that don't work, man. That don't work. That ain't it. Start with that, man. I wore some different clothes, so that's different. I do something different every day. Yeah, okay, go ahead. I ain't going to say nothing to you. The people out there that understand what I'm saying, they know what I'm saying. I ain't even going to argue some of this stuff, man. Like, it just is what it is, man. You probably heard this stuff before. The whole... The construct, the matrix, whatever somebody call it, like, yeah, it responds to your actions and what you doing, because you are part of it. This is what what you are made up of, what makes you up, the elements that make you. That's why it's so important. This is why they hide it from us. This is what I'm starting to really realize now. I found out a long time ago. I'm starting to really realize that shit now. I'm starting to really realize this is what they hiding from us. So let me get back to it, man. This is real important. I'm really excited about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is one of my favorite subjects. Every chance I get, I do a little bit of research about this. You know, with hearing new opinions and new theories, like seeing what actually science is doing and they're capable of doing and they're trying to do. It's really all you got to do to see if some of this stuff is correct or not. But anyway, so I always wondered what was in that 3% since they always called it miscellaneous. And I figured when we were younger and it was doing that, I figured when we get older, they'll go ahead and they'll explain it to us. We're just younger right now. They ain't got, you know what I'm saying? It's not important. You know how everything in school is like building blocks? So I just thought later on you get to high school or something, they'll build on that too. Except they never did. And at one point it just dawned on me, it's like, y'all hiding it. Y'all hiding something from us. That's why you don't want to tell us what it is. That's why you keep saying miscellaneous. It don't matter. And then you hear people talk about all the time how these little things don't matter, how a little bit. And I always say this. It would be like not knowing what 3% of your car was. You know what I'm saying? Say you're trying to change an alternator, except 3% of it you can't see or you don't know about or it just ain't there. At that point, you just sort of guessing and practicing to fix it. You see what I'm saying? The like medical practice. Yeah. Because everybody's not the same and all cars are not the same. So because you know how to change a starter in one, it might come a different car. Like it's 3% of that one. Like it's missing. You see, same thing over and over. You can't really fix it properly because you always guessing and practicing. You see what I'm saying? You got to know what the whole thing is. So that 3% sort of like burned a hole in my head, man. So when it came time and I was doing this research in the library, like that was one of the first questions I asked. And I mean, I read a lot of books, man. I looked up a lot of people I looked up several people that talked about this subject. I want to say on this subject, there were like 12 experts. Now, usually there weren't that many. It was usually like 5 or 6. But this particular subject, I want to say, I think it had 12. So the way I worked it was, out of 5, I'm doing the best 3 out of 5. I read all 3 of these authors and their books and see how the information adds up. See what information between them repeats. Who missing something. And when it comes to that point, you know, I don't really know who is telling the truth about what, because I'm already learning. You lying about so much. So I started looking into who these people actually were at the same time, where they grew up, what school they went to, who's paying them now, who was paying them when they wrote this book. You know what I'm saying? Like, what's happened to you since you wrote the book? You know what I've come to find out? A lot of these guys that are well respected in these societies, scientific societies, they started out at the same schools that these guys who are poorly respected, you know. And a lot of times these guys that are not highly respected now, they're like disgraced and thought of as nut jobs, alternative, this and that, whatever. They got better grades in school than these guys that are as highly respected today by the government. These guys are the guys that get pushed by the government and whatnot. And I started seeing that. And the difference between them is not the information, because a lot of the guys that were highly respected by the government were taking their information from these guys who are least respected. Like on a scale, like on a list of 5 or 6 people. The first two, those are the top respected guys. The bottom two, 5 and 6, they're the least respected. Except 1 and 2 are taking work from 5 and 6. And this is the strange thing I found. This is the part that killed me. Like, I was like, are you serious? I was learning about plagiarism and all that stuff and trying not to plagiarize my papers and all. You know what I'm saying? Like, work around it. These guys were actually taking some of this stuff that these guys least respected had done and writing it in books word for word. Word for word, and not giving them credit. How I know? Because I read both their books. And I was like, are you serious? How are y'all getting away with this? And the reason these guys were least respected wasn't because of their information or their body of work, because it clearly was good enough for these other guys to take it. It's because of let me spit it out. I'm a little excited. It's because of the conclusions these guys came to. Their conclusions involve things like the human torus field, the concepts of the mother goddess and living in balance in nature. They talked about alchemy and hermetics. They talked about the spiritual world, a world around us. This place is a duality. So there's a world around us that we do not see. And I've been hearing about this for a long time. I've been looking into it. It's a real thing. This is a real thing. And to understand the human body, you got to sort of understand that. Because the human body is not you. It's not you. What you look in the mirror and see is not you. It's a vehicle that you use to be seen and interact with other things in this world. And when you leave this world, you cannot leave in this body, because this body belongs here. And this is what I mean. This is going back to that Jacob's Ladder concept I was talking about. This is Jacob's Ladder. On each of these levels, people are rising. They are trying to rise. You're trying to rise to reach these higher levels. And it's like blockchain, where all the hands are linked together, like all the souls are connected. Like in each of these realms, there's a version of you. There's another version of you living out their life just like you living out your life here. And to leave this realm, say you're here in this realm, to leave this realm and go higher, which we would call this the firmament for our realm. Let's just say this is the firmament for our realm. To go higher, you cannot leave in this body. This body was made for this realm right here to interact in. You understand what I'm saying? You cannot leave in this body. You have to leave this body here. So when you leave out of here to these higher realms, to everybody else, it's going to look like you died. They're going to say he died in his sleep. They say he passed on. They say he went to the other side. You see what I'm saying? This is Jacob's Ladder. It steps to get to the higher realms, which are the heavens that we want. And the first thing we got to do here is reach our crown chakra. Open our third eye and be able to see and reach the crown chakra. We got to at least start here to get out of here. We babies here. This is the baby land. This is the Babylon. We're on a flat plain surrounded by a torus field. and you have your own torus field. They show it to you. I didn't make this up. Like, this is not my idea. They show it to you. This is what science say. This science. This is why they gotta shock you with the little pads. Because you are energy. You are a light being. The body is like a car. It's a machine. And it needs a power source. The power source is you. And once you leave the body gonna drop dead. Everybody gonna be like, oh, he died. And once you get outside the body. You understand? And all I'm doing right now is we talking about what the body is. We're just gonna talk about what the body is now. So when I get started on this research, like one of the questions I had was, what's in this 3%? Like I said, I did a lot of research on these guys and looking at them. One thing they all agree with, they all concluded, was that the body was made from every element that occurs here naturally. And with that being said, there is no other animal that's made of all the elements. There is one animal that comes close, and that was the pig. It's missing one element. The next animal was a mouse, or more specifically, those lab mice they always testing on. They're missing 2 elements. Now after that, I'm not really sure which animals were missing what. From 2 to about 5 or 6 elements missing. These are the animals that they use for testing in labs. The frog, the mice, the rats, the rabbits, the guinea pigs. And I want to say guinea pigs might be missing 6 or 7. More than you think. But like all that stuff that they test on, those are missing just a few elements. Somewhere between 2 to 5 usually. Said mice, rabbits, I want to say gerbils and hamsters is in there. I'm not sure. Like, I remember reading it and thinking, I was surprised that, that even a mouse was number 2. Looking at it so small, like, really? Not an ape, not a whale, not none of that. Nah, none of that stuff is up there. And when you get to the monkeys, when I got to the monkeys and the apes started out, monkeys and apes started out, I'm not sure which one, it's been like 30 years. I didn't write any of this stuff down. This was just for me. They were missing like 7 or 8 elements starting off. I want to say 7. And some of them were missing as many as 12. And I think there was at least one that was missing 15 elements. That lets you know that all the apes and monkeys, they're not all the same. Except when we do this evolution thing, they sharing DNA. We share DNA with a common ancestor, and somehow we sort of split off. We made differently, different elements. Now, doing this research, I started also finding out that on the elemental makeup, the animals are nothing like us. On the elemental makeup, we're more like plants. And that there is one plant, which is a tree, that has all the elements in it. And the name will come back to me. I'll remember the name. I'm going to come across the video or something. Somebody's going to say something about it. Right now, I don't have the name of that tree. You've probably heard about it. And no, it's not the tree that bleeds blood. The tree that drips out the red sap. That's not it. I remember thinking at the time that was going to be it. No, that's not it. It's a different tree. So at the time I'm learning this, if you remember, this is back in like the early 90s. They were destroying the rainforest. Remember that? And I remember thinking that these trees are probably in the rainforest. That's why they destroying them. Or in some far off land and nobody really knows. Like the people there know, except they probably trying to destroy that too. Now supposedly this tree was good to eat. You could eat the leaves, make tea from the bark and the branches. You could actually make tea from the leaves, actually eat the bark. You boil it or something and it gets soft or whatnot, and you can actually eat it. And people ate that because all these elements that we needed was in this tree. Now this is what I'm learning. And this is so different from what I've been learning in school. And I was like, how can that be? I was like, what about the DNA and the chromosomes and the common ancestor and the genes and all that? You know, how does that work? So over the years, I investigated a lot of it, man. First of all, the DNA, the way they doing the DNA is suspect. But even these ancestry things, they're faulty. Like people getting different results that shouldn't get different results. The identical twins getting different results, completely different countries. Nah, it shouldn't happen. Not just one time, several times. They send them off to 3 or 4 companies and all of them send back different results. Don't even make sense. And they talk about the database, this and that. There's something up. See, like, I don't know. I just been here so long. I understand it all. Like, they're lying to us. I get that. And some of this stuff for me is hard to prove. And that's honestly why I depend on other people. One thing I learned in doing all this research at that time, that there's so much you can find out. There's so much out there for you to find out. One person could probably spend their whole life researching books and reading books and never know it all. I mean, not even have a life, no children, just all you did was research. You was a monk just researching and not never know all, if you going by just that, the information. And then at the same time, there's a whole world around you going on in. All this stuff is going on in and interacting in. You know what I'm saying? You really got to pay attention to, because, like, to me, the proof is always in the pudding. You can write a whole bunch of stuff in these books. The proof is in the pudding. And I know being in school with the magic bullet and St. Patrick's Day and running the snakes out of our, man, come on, man. You told us so many fairy tales. I know you lying to me about some of this stuff, man. I already know. So why would I not look to see if you telling the truth or not? And then say, hey, let's watch to see what's really going on. So when I'm reading all this information about what the human body is made up of, all these elements and whatnot, and we're more closely related with trees, and I'm like, whoa, this is not anything they told us in school. And I was this is another thing. I dug science. I was considered myself a man of science. Like, that's why I was on some, I don't want to mess with this alchemy and hermetics and all this hooey-fooey stuff, like praying to the ancestors and worshiping these other deities. I wasn't into all that. I was into what's actual factual, man. I wasn't into none of this stuff. Anything having to do with anything that closely resembled religion or spirituality, I was trying to stay away from. I wasn't even trying to deal with that stuff, man. I saw all that stuff as a game back then. I was like, it's just so you'd be out here and be soft, man, and just let people do whatever. That's what that was about. I was like, just so you'll sit here and take it. Why else would they do all this stuff? Like, I don't get it. Like, it don't even make sense. So I wasn't really on like any of that other stuff. You got to prove it to me, man. You got to prove it to me. So I'm looking at this stuff, man, and I'm thinking to myself, man, like, how would I ever know if any of this stuff is true? I mean, even if I could get a lab or something and find out what exactly the human body was made of, break it down on an elemental level, specifically what percentages of what, and do that with all the animals and plants. You see what I'm saying? That's why I said one man could never do all this research by themselves. I couldn't see it. I couldn't see it. And so one thing I wanted at that time, 17, I remember, like, when I was about to graduate Actually, I think I had turned 18 at the time by then. Anyway, I was like, one day, because I couldn't be the only person. I was like, I was the only person I had met at the time. Come to find out, there's other people that was right around me, and I didn't even know they was like that. I was like, for real? Anyway, I had never met anybody else that was interested in any of this stuff, that knew what I was talking about, that knew what I was saying. And I said, I can't be the only one. If I done found out, it's gonna be some other people. We're talking about the world, man. The world, Craig. The world, Craig. But I was like, it's gonna be a space one day when all us who've been asking these questions and researching, we all gonna all get together and we're gonna exchange information. And when I found the Bro Sanchez show, I was like, here it is. At first, I was all on it, but like it quickly like changed for me, like, and that's a whole thing, man. Cause like I didn't trust anything out here. I didn't care what people was saying. Like even if you was telling the truth, I was like, I still don't trust it. I still don't trust it. That's something else, man. So anyway, I'm learning about all these elements and what things are made up of, and seeing that, okay, if this is true about us being from every element that's here naturally, first of all, we ain't no aliens. And with the monkeys and apes missing 7 to 8 and sometimes as many as 12 or 15, they not even the same thing. They not even all alike. And when you look at how we classify things, we ain't very sophisticated at how we do it at all. It's really some damn childlike shit. It was stupid to me back then, and now it's even that more dumb. It's even that more dumb because we literally go by this look like this, so they the same. They in the same family, and that's how they get you with the monkey. You looking like a monkey and shit because they sort of resemble us, don't they? You know what I'm saying? The arms and the legs walking like similar, about one of the only animals that's real close, right? So because of the physical characteristics, you be like, oh, we like monkeys. Except on the elemental makeup, we supposedly more like plants. You see what I'm saying? And not so much like animals. So I was like, how could this be, man? Like, how can I prove any of this? At the time, they had just started implanting people, trying to implant them with that pig heart, trying to make it work. Even back then, I was like, I don't want no damn pig heart, man. Like, what would make you think somebody want a pig heart? You see what I'm saying? Why wouldn't you at least pick a monkey or a gorilla or something? I remember I thought by the time it's my time to get a heart, I want a gorilla heart. We ain't playing. I'm gonna give me a gorilla heart. Wouldn't you want a gorilla heart? I definitely don't want no horse heart. I don't want no farm animal heart. I don't want one of them. Nah, man. Especially not no pig, filthy animal, man. Like, come on, man. For real. I mean, have you ever been around that really rooting around in their own shit and piss, man? Like, come on. And that's what you want to put in us? I was like, y'all crazy. And we live on the island of Dr. Moreau, and that's a whole nother story. That's why this stuff is like sort of normal. Like, it seems sophisticated. They got people with degrees out here like putting animal parts in people. Psh. I'm telling you, man, this place is something else, man. This place, people think that's, oh man, they real smart. They was doing that. They would put a pig heart. Oh man, they got it to work. Oh, pig heart. I'd be like, for real? Y'all wildin'. Y'all wildin'. Yo, and even with that, they gotta add electronics to it, and the thing don't even hardly work out. I don't know, man. Anyway, I always assume when it come my turn, you know what I'm saying, they're gonna figure out why they can't use a monkey heart or whatever right now. They're gonna figure it out, right? It's just tissue, right? See, except to this day, they say a pig tissue is the closest thing to human tissue. That's one of the reasons why they can't use the heart of a monkey or an ape. And here's something else I always find interesting. See, and they love these calculations and equations they love to throw at you real quick. See, when it comes to transplanting a heart into a human and them using a pig, all that DNA and chromosome stuff, they go out the window. Like if you wanted to get a liver from a relative or something from another human being, they gotta like be a good match. All this stuff gotta match up, but somehow they can just grab a pig and put it in somebody. They say that pig flesh cooks up like when it's cooked up now. Pig flesh when it's cooked up smells like, tastes like human flesh. It cooks up like human flesh. Human flesh and pig flesh cook up the same. They smell the same and they taste the same when you eat it. This is what science say. My very first question is, how the fuck do you know? You see what I'm saying? Who was eating people? Who was cooking up people, fricasseeing and deep frying, whatever you want, sauteed it, grilled it, like however you cooked up people? Who did that to cook it up like some bacon and eat it? You see what I'm saying? So you ask science, they'll say it's based on calculations and equations. We can tell what the pig would have tasted like compared to the human, and we can see that it's real similar. That's what they say. They always hit you with them calculations and equations. It should be killing me, man. Killing me. And out here with some adrenochrome. Man, look. This world crazy. I'm gonna get to that part too, man. Cause we don't drink blood. That's not naturally. That's not what we do. We got to be introduced to that. We got to get somebody to do that. Somebody got to show us it. Naturally, we wouldn't be doing that. Wouldn't do it. We had to see somebody else do it. Even if we was little babies, we had to see somebody else doing it. We'll be sitting there playing with the animal, and the animal start moving. We'll be sad. We ain't know we killed it. You know what I'm saying? So I'm learning this out, and they using a pig heart to put in people. That's the first red flag. Like, pig is supposed to be the one animal missing one element. There you go. Why is this whole element thing important? When it comes to the human body, it is a miraculous thing. You see how now they're trying to build these self-repairing cars, these self-repairing items and whatnot? They're copying us. Like everything they do is they're copying us. They're copying us. They're copying nature. We supposedly have a lot of the properties these animals have in nature. Now, if you look at it on an elemental level, like, that makes sense. That we would. You understand what I'm saying? We're made up of everything that's here. Check this out. You ever heard, like, back in the day, they used to tell you, like, boy, you need to put down that joystick, that PlayStation. You the PlayStation. You need to stop watching so much TV. You the TV. You the VCR. You the computer. You don't need that thing, man. Like, you the computer. Like, literally. Here's the thing. Everything that they use, that they dig up out of the ground to make your laptops and to make your PlayStations and the games and your flat screens and your speakers, that's all elements that's in the ground naturally. All elements that you were made up of. Elements that make you up. Make up what is you. To make you into this thing. This meat sack we call a human body. More or less. All the elements to make up this right here. Flesh and bone, cartilage and things, muscle and whatnot. Hair, teeth, nails. You made up of all the elements that come out of the ground. Why is this important? All these elements in the ground are supposed to be there. They're there for a reason. They're there for us. They're part of what makes everything in this place work the way it should. And when you start digging up these elements out of the ground, you start changing the environment. Now the things that rely on these elements to be in the ground don't get exactly what they need to grow the way they should. Like the plants. You know what I'm saying? There's animals that bury themselves in the ground. Part of the reason, this is just my theory, they don't talk about, is because of the certain elements in the area. Being close to that element, letting that element get into your body. This is why the beach is good for you. You ever notice how good you feel when you go to the beach? You feel great, right? Even when you get sick, it's like after you get sick from, like, you better, like way better. From being out in the water too long and being cold or whatever. It's weird, right? Well, at the beach, you got a couple things. You got a few things going on. For one, we walk around in these shoes all day. We're not supposed to. We're supposed to be out here grounded. So at the beach, you walking around all that time barefoot grounded. A lot of people know that. You also have a lot of minerals at the beach. The beach is where the land and the sea meet. It's a special thing. You got these two lives, these two forms of life, two forms of different parts of this place that carry life in themselves meeting in this one area. There's things that come out of the sea to plant, to grow life, that to raise the young so they go back into the sea. There are things that are close to the sea to be born and they go back onto the land. And in this place, there are a lot of minerals from where the two places meet. Those minerals also seep into your body. That's why it's one of the reasons it's good to get out there in the ocean. The water is not what it used to be. We're dumping a lot of pollution in it and whatnot. Still, it's better than not right now, I think. I ain't been out there testing. I ain't got the equipment to go out there and test myself and try to say, look, listening to what's going on. Going to the beach myself in 2020, like make sure you go to the beach. In 2020, I made sure I went to the beach. You know what I'm saying? That's one reason why some of these beaches was closed off. And we ain't gonna talk too much about that, but because the beach is a good place for you to be to heal the body, rejuvenate yourself. I got a partner, man. We work out at the gym, and he took a weekend, went to the beach, man. And when he came back, that nigga was glowing. He was glowing. I seen it in his face from a distance. I was like, damn, what's going on with this dude right here? This nigga's he been energized. He done came back from the beach. I was like, I knew it. And this is what I'm saying about the good minerals out there to get into your body. You need those. You're made up of everything that is here. And the beach is a good place to get those minerals. Now, with all that life at the beach coming and going, there's a lot of life at the beach. Just explain that. And there's a lot of good bacteria at the beach. This is the reason why the hospital keeps a woman's placenta. That afterbirth and whatnot, they keep all that. That's for scientific. They gonna look. Some of these places sell that stuff. It's not your property. You gotta make sure you get it. You have the rights to it. Before anything happens, you gotta make sure that's all taken care of. If you can even get it. A lot of these places, it becomes their property once you're born. It's part of the price of giving birth. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be. If you don't want it might cost you a little bit more. If you want to keep it or whatever, like, and they're gonna probably look at you, but what are you gonna do? What you gonna do with it? What you gonna do with it? So but yeah, like, there's a lot of life at the beach. So all that bacteria, all that good bacteria is good for you. Helps boost your immune system. And of course, being out there in the sun and everything, you know. So you got the grounding, you got the minerals, you got the good bacteria at the beach. So, you know, you spend about 3-4 days at the beach. So, like, that's why a lot of these older people used to move to the beaches, Miami and whatnot, like, health improve. And it depends on what's going on with you. You might need the dry places like in New Mexico, out there in the desert or something like that. You know, a lot of people do a lot of things like for health reasons, as far as like where you living and whatnot, and they may or may not know. Like, a lot of it, I've been looking at this for years now, and I'm starting to see. I've been following Dr. Sebi since I was probably like 15 or 16. When Magic Johnson came out with his little announcement, I was like, oh, he want to see Dr. Sebi. I ain't never think he was gonna be like, Michael Jackson already went, like, why not? I back then I assumed like most of these celebrities went to go see Dr. Sebi. I knew about TLC from Left Eye. It's a couple other people. And I also knew about his court case. So, like, I just assumed, like, my plan was, with all the stuff I knew about what was going on and how the body works and everything, my plan was to go see Dr. Sebi when I'm about 40, 45. Like, that was always the plan. Like, we can go out here and kick it and have fun. I know about 40, everybody start having problems and whatnot. About 45 is serious, you know what I'm saying? 40, 45 or 50. So I was like, let's go ahead and catch that a little bit early. So we're going to see Dr. Sebi when you about 40 or something. You know what I'm saying? 45. We ain't no stress, man. We out here kicking and having fun right now, right? 2017, dude ain't around no more. They got rid of him. He was in protective custody over some money like that he had taken. He didn't use a bank, so he traveled with cash. And apparently the person, I want to say there was something going on with the person that does the money for him. I think maybe it was a new person, or there was an issue with the person. I can't remember. But the money, the proper documents and whatnot were not taken care of before he left. This is the story I got from the research I did with it. The proper documents were not signed or whatever, not taken care of. And when he took the flight, he had over $10,000 with him. So he was detained for that. While being detained, and I'm not exactly sure where he was being detained at, to be honest with you. I want to say it was U.S. custody. I'm not sure though. So while being detained, his daughter and my aunt did speak to him, and they both, well, I think his daughter had talked to him, and his daughter said that he was doing a fast because he thought they were trying to poison him, and this was supposedly, according to her, like 2 weeks before he passed. And it was something weird about some cellmate he got a couple days before he got sick, and then after he got sick and died, the cellmate disappeared, and some other stuff, man. Certain people couldn't be found or whatever. That guy couldn't be found. Certain other people couldn't be found that was there. Supposedly he died of the flu, 2017. He died of the flu. So yeah, after that, after that, finding out that, man, like, I was like, you're gonna have to be your own Dr. Sebi. Like, go to Honduras. Like, Honduras can't be the only place like this. It's like this. If you have a child, you don't just put that child in like some harsh conditions and let him fend for himself. You got a little baby, just came home from the hospital. What you do? You nurture it, you feed it, you make sure it's safe. You baby proof the house. You do all that. And what I'm saying is, the Creator did the same thing with us. And I don't think the Creator made anything here to intentionally hurt us. And at the same time, I think the Creator put things here to help us when we need it, like medicine and things like that. And according to my research, the medicine is the elements that we have here. See, the body repairs itself. You just got to give it what it needs. So people are taking sea moss. What do they say about sea moss? Oh, it has 92 of the elements that the body needs. Really? The body needs 102 minerals, they say. This whole this whole word game with minerals and elements, I gotta speak on that real quick, because when I was in school, I wondered why they did that. Elements, you know what elements are? Just dirt and rocks that come from the ground and earth, these different ores and metals and whatnot, these elements, these different things, diamonds, or different elemental properties, different coal, everything, right? So minerals are very small amounts of elements. And vitamins are minerals processed and given to you in pill form. You see what I'm saying? Naturally, it's just elements. They're saying when you take a small bit of that element, very small traces and whatnot, it's just minerals, like dust, like a little bit of dust. So if they take that dust and they add it up and they add it into other things, they cook it up, make it into a pill form, put it into a pill, and now you get the vitamin. You see what I'm saying? They middlemaning us. Instead of getting the straight elements, you say, how you get straight elements? You get them from the plants to get them from the earth. That's how you get them. That's how the whole thing with sea moss works. Sea moss grows on rocks in the ocean. And in those rocks are elements. So the different oceans that it grows in, there are different elements, concentrations of different elements. That's why you have so many different types of sea moss you can get, because they're growing in different places. You're going to get different concentrations of different elements. That's why you have some sea moss that's 82 elements. You might have some that closer to 99, and wide range in between of how much of what is actually in it. And this is not all regulated by the FDA, because the FDA, we ain't gonna tell you, it's just not, okay? I ain't gonna talk too much about that. I'm trying to keep my channel up, man. I'm trying to get monetized first, man. At least let me get monetized before we start doing some great. Yeah, but we're gonna get to it. We're gonna get to it though. But the FDA, it's not FDA approved. So a lot, like, to get quality, you need to have you're probably gonna need some some exporter from across seas, because around here I don't think there's any places like naturally around here that we get sea moss on a regular basis. A lot of people I hear about that get sea moss, they get it from some distributor that's in Jamaica or some other country or something. The stuff you get in the store is not even really sea moss, so I would leave it alone, man. I would honestly leave it alone. If you really think about it, I don't know, man. It's so crazy to me, man. Like, it's a lot of good people out here, but and I hate to use the word, but we'll just say it's a lot of good people out here, and they are not aware of what's going on. So a lot of these people can be tricked to believing that they're doing the right thing. Like so they're not really aware of what's going on. They think these people are here to help us. People like me are just like conspiracy theorists or whatever else. What we are, we truth seekers. We just want the truth. That's how it started out for me, man. I kept hearing lies and lies and finding out you getting lies. I kept wanting to find out the truth. That's why I got all these questions. As soon as you find the answer to one question, they don't do nothing but bring more questions. And question after question, this is the quest that you go on. This is the path. This is the journey you take. And if you want to know something, just ask the universe. The universe knows what you want, and it's going to respond in kind. You got to do your part. You know what I'm saying? You want something, the universe says, okay, you can have it, except not until you're ready. And when the universe gives it to you, you got to be ready. So when the universe gives you your answer, you got to be ready. Somebody told me that years ago, man. It was like, she was like, if I want to know something about what's going on, I just ask the universe. I had never thought about that before. And literally, like, for me, it's the questions that stay on your mind that don't leave. Like, you want to know, eventually something pops up. You get the information from somewhere. You may have a chance to look into a book or an article that's on some stand or something. You found something out you didn't know. And with that, you can research something else and find out some other things. Like, it's just weird the way it happens sometimes. It's just, if you want to know, you're going to find out. It's like this whole alien thing. I know these aliens is fake. I know what they showing you is some fake, some fugazi shit. I already know. I already understand how these Nagas work. I already know what they're doing. It's a lot of things out here I didn't want to think were real. Would think were true. It's true. That's another thing with the whole journey. So, like, when it comes to the whole alien thing, when they start showing a little, what, Mexican dead bodies, I was like, come on, man. So, Bro Sanchez did a whole stream where people send him emails or whatnot, and he exposed that whole thing, dog. Like, these dudes, like, this goes to the Bone Wars, which is something else I looked up when I was in high school, the whole dinosaur thing. Debunking that, man. Like, yeah, like, this whole thing is a game. So, like, I'm really just getting started, man. There's so much stuff I got to go over, man. And we just really touching on the human body. I'm giving you a lot of other stuff with it. So, the human body, like, it's a beautiful work of art. You got to think of that thing as, like, the sleekest, leanest machine, most advanced system ever made, repairing itself. You know what I'm saying? Knowing what it needs, it's regulating its own systems. You understand what I'm saying? Like, it's so much to this. I can talk about the human body for a while, man. Like, not from a textbook standpoint. Although I do know some technical things about it, man, but like, just, it's deeper than that. The way they teach it, they make it, they don't really tell you what you are. That's why the doctor has to guess at how to fix you. We don't really know what's going on. We'll try this, we'll test for this, and we'll give you some of this medicine and see how that works. That's what you get. And I'm speaking from experience, you know what I'm saying? Did my own folks, hearing them say it over the, like, and I would tell them, look, the doctor's not going to find nothing wrong with you. You healthy. What's wrong with you ain't got nothing to do with the physical side. And that's what the doctor's looking at, the physical side. See, the physical side is not you. That's the machine. That's the vehicle that you use in this place. That's the part that don't leave here. That ain't you. Except what happens, 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 what happens what happens to you, the real you, manifests itself in the physical you. See, this is you. This is you right here. If you didn't know who you were, this is who you are. You were this ball of light right here. This thing they call in the pineal gland. And you should ask, why would I say such a thing? They've told us this over the years. The little electrical impulse that they got to use to bring back the body. You can look some of this stuff up. You can look this stuff up, man. Whenever anybody dies, I think it's like a half a pound everybody loses. No matter how big or small you are, there's a half a pound you lose. Theory is, it's your soul leaving the body. This little thing right here, what they call the pineal gland. Now, what is the pineal gland actually? Why do we get these CGI images? Because when you actually cut open the brain, which you can't do until somebody's dead, to see the pineal gland, this is what you find, an empty chamber. See right there where they had the pineal gland, like there's this little gland that's supposed to be right there. It's not there. It's an empty chamber. This chamber I've heard it called the seat of the soul or the throne of God. So this is also the area, like in Men in Black, when you open up the guy's face and there's a little man inside with all the controls running the machine. That's you. They literally telling you what you are. This is where you are sitting in this brain, in this cortex, in this advanced computer system right here we call a brain. This highly advanced computer system we call a brain. And what has happened to us is we are in a comatose state here. We are not fully awake. And our connections we have been making in the brain are dying off. Science tells you that, you're using alcohol and you're doing this and you're doing that. You're just killing your brain cells. You're just closing off those connections. Science also tells you you can reestablish those connections and make new connections if needed. And remember, the body repairs itself if given the proper tools, given the proper materials to repair itself. If it's a brick building and the building needs bricks to repair itself and you don't give it bricks, it ain't got what it repairs itself with won't be as good as the bricks. You giving it plastic. You giving it something else, not what it needs. You see what I'm saying? So if you're talking about the building blocks of the human body, you got to start off with the elements. And that's what the body needs to repair itself, in my opinion. The research I've done some experiments, run some tests on myself. So I'm telling you, look, you give the body what it needs, it can repair itself. Now, here's the hard part, and I'm going to have to save this for the next time because we're going to close up right here in a minute. The hard part is the condition the body is now. Like your body has gotten used to doing certain things and being a certain way. You taking in certain things, your day going a certain way. Everything, the energy about this place, everything. And that's a whole nother thing we're going to get into. So this body thing is real big. So, yeah, we definitely going to come back with at least, I believe, a couple more videos about this. So, everything you take in is what is fueling your body. Now, when you think of your body, even though your body is not you and you are not the body, everything you taking in, you got to think of the mind and body as one because it works together. The mind and the body are two separate things, except the body was made for you. This is your body. You understand what I'm saying? Nobody else can use this body the way you can. It was programmed. It was fitted for you to use. Nobody else. And I gotta say this. If you don't be yourself, you're doomed to be somebody else. You might be one of the characters you see on TV. You may be some character you've read about. But if you're not yourself, you're doomed to be somebody else. That's the programming of this place. So that you don't be yourself. Especially when being yourself becomes something that is shunned by other people. Looked down upon. Like there's something off with you. When really, it's the opposite way around and they just don't see it. So yeah, let's get back to this pineal gland. So this little area here, see, you always see these pictures, and this is supposed to be an actual slice of a human brain taken. Usually and there's nothing there. See, so when you see these other pictures of the pineal gland, they're just this, animation. Just a bunch of animation. Because when you actually open it up, there's nothing there. See what I mean? But I want to look at this one right here because this is a good picture. I want to show you something. I want to show you something real quick. How they play this game with us, make us afraid to be who we are, to be us. Now, once again, they're showing you this pineal gland right here, but I want you to look at this whole thing here. I want you to look at this whole thing here. Like a lot of people see this as a pineal gland because there's not actually anything here. It's an empty space. Like I keep saying, there's nothing there. So a lot of people refer to this thing in particular as being the whole thing of the pineal gland. And see, the thing is, you the sleeping giant. The power we have. This is what I was trying to say about all the elements. You being part of this whole place and all the elements. See, I start understanding now what Dr. Delbert Blair was saying about the earth is our weapon. We are the weapons. The things people say about, well, we were the weapons here. We were actually weapons. I can understand where that comes from now because, like I said, all the stuff they making for all these things, all this technology, they digging it out of the ground, and it's already configured in you in a way that we are unaware of. This goes back to the whole you only use 10% of your brain. They want to keep you thinking on that level so you never see that there's a higher power that you have. There's a higher level of intelligence you can reach while being in this place, and they never want you to see that. They want you to stay focused on women, money, and cars. That's it. That's it. Women and money and cars. That's it. Houses and things, the basics, not who you are. But you can be like anybody else. Being yourself is something wrong in this place. You see what I'm saying? When you talk to people, oh, you need to be more like this person. You need to be more like, why can't you be more like that guy? Why can't you be more like this person? Oh, I like you a lot, but like if you could be like Denzel and Equalizer, like, yeah, like everybody wants you to be like somebody. They don't like people to be themselves, people to be outside of the norm of thinking, to question authority, to think about these type of things. And that's the difference between, say it again, man, that's the difference between the people that's waking up and the people that's sleeping. The people that's sleeping, they don't really care, man. They don't really care. And you really can't, you just got to reach the ones that you can, man. Some of these people is not going to hear you no matter how much ever. They're going to sit there and look at you and they're going to be like, I believe what I want to believe, and that's it. Like, I don't even care what you saying. I don't care how much evidence you bring up. I don't even care if what you saying makes any sense to me at all. I ain't listening to begin with. And if you say it enough, like, even if it made sense, I don't care. You see what I'm saying? Some people are just like that. You're not going to be able to get through to them at all. Some people, it's not their time. Like, I said before that we all here to reach this higher plane. Like, some people came here to, that's not their goal right now. They still working out their karma. They still rolling around in that lower chakra. You know what I'm saying? All they see is the nice things. You know what I'm saying? Making sure they're straight, making sure they're all right, making sure the people they care about are right. They don't really care too much about the rest of the people out here. You know what I mean? They don't really care too much about the people like in Flint when their water was bad. They was like, I don't live in Flint. That ain't my water. You know what I'm saying? Those type of people, they the ones that's totally out here asleep. See, if you was like I was, you knew that if we didn't fix Flint water, then eventually all our water gonna be fucked up. And look at us now. I'm telling you, man. I seen that shit when it happened. I was like, if we don't say something, and that, all the voting we did not one person say like, who gonna fix Flint water? Did nobody care because they ain't live in Flint. They let everybody pass that buck on to somebody else to fix, somebody else to take care of. I'm trying to tell you, man, if we don't stick together, this ain't gonna do nothing but get worse. This is why I'm sitting here doing this right here. This is why I'm doing it for one reason. Another thing is, like, part of me thinks this place is supposed to be this way because it's a learning ground. It's a place, it's a school. We supposed to grow here and learn. And that I heard Bro Sanchez say this again too. Like, we ain't supposed to change this place. This place changes you, which is what, far as I can tell, is true. Because, like, at first, when I first woke up, yeah, you want to save the world. Then you realize the world don't want to be saved, and the only person you can save is you. You see what I'm saying? Like, you can talk to you blue in the face, man, but like, only person, ain't nobody coming to save nobody here. There ain't no, Jesus is not coming to scoop you up. The mothership ain't coming, man. Ain't none of that. You gonna have to save yourself in this place. And you really can't save nobody else if you can't save yourself first. You see what I mean? So you really can't. You gotta let them be, man. You gotta, whatever way you gotta find to deal with it and be in your space and be in your world. That's what you gotta do. That's what. If you want to walk this path, if you want to reach a higher enlightenment, if you want to figure out what's going on, because you're gonna learn a lot of stuff that you don't want to hear. You're gonna find out a lot of things and know a lot of things you're gonna wish you didn't know. Like, I did not want to believe or think that this place was a simulation. This whole thing is a video game. It ain't even real. Except even by my own research, that's what I was leading to. I kept saying this place ain't even real. Except when the simulation theory came to me, it was like, when I started hearing about it, it was like, no, that's way deeper than what I was thinking. But like, damn, like, really? Like, we are in it. Science says this. Science says they can prove it with their calculations and equations. Once again, and I'm going to say this again, it's perfect. The math is perfect, except they're using it to explain something else. They're explaining the truth in a way to give you the lie. And then my next video, yeah, we about an hour and a half, almost an hour and a half now. So I'm going to end up, so in my next video, we'll go deeper into it. Particles, atoms, molecules, what you made up of, all that good stuff. But for right now, let me finish up with this. Me saying we the sleeping giants, right? And they're afraid of us, and this is why they do a lot of what they do. They are scared of us because they want us to stay asleep. This is why the food and all this other stuff, the treatment. They want you to be dumbed down and be asleep, leaving things out, not knowing what you are, so you can play this guessing game. Or we aliens, or we monkeys, that's what we come from. Like, nope, we ain't none of that. We is none of that. We the most powerful thing here on this place, and they don't want you to know that. So they literally flipped the script. You see this alien, you see this head. Remember the movie? You see his head? Now, look at this pineal gland. I used to see this for years. I used to think the same thing. And Bro Sanchez pulled this out. I was like, yeah, because we the big head aliens. We the sleeping giants. They literally took the thing that they afraid of the most and made it your fear. Wanted you to be afraid of it. Wanted you to be scared of this thing. When they really they showing you. They showing you that you are way more powerful than you think. And you are way scarier to them than you think. So much so, hell, we'll show it to you and we'll scare you with it. You see what I'm saying? You know this thing ain't real. You know this, but the movie scared the shit out you though. When you see the thing pop up and the little head pop out, yeah, you scared as shit. You see that thing at Halloween, you see somebody, you know it ain't real. You see somebody in a costume, like, yeah, they catch you all, it scared the shit out you. Yeah, we love to be scared. So they just play into that. And then they told you that was you right here, that was this. And really, what that is this. It's your seat. That's you. You are a ball of light. You this white light. If you didn't know who you are, this is who you are. What you see in the mirror is not you. It is the vehicle. This is the power source that moves and drives the vehicle. It's like that movie Pacific Rim, where you had the giant robots and you need two people in there to drive it, the right hemisphere and the left hemisphere, and they had to be sort of in sync with each other. They did like this little mind meld type thing with each other so they could sync up and drive the robot, be in sync. Yeah, that's they keep showing this to you over and over what you are. That's you. Them big robots, that was you. That's your body. The two dudes in there doing the mind meld to become one and sync up, that's your left hemisphere and your right hemisphere being synced by you right here in the middle, controlling everything. And what happens is when you start waking up, this is my theory. They say you decalcifying your pineal gland. I don't know about that. I've never seen the pineal gland. This is what they say it is, but all I've ever seen these cartoons and animations, when you cut it up, there's nothing there. And you got crystals in your body naturally anywhere. Your body's filled with crystals. You're supposed to have them in there. So this whole decalcification thing, I don't know. Maybe they're saying like around that empty space is calcified, and that keeping this ball of energy somewhat like a prisoner in there and decalcifying it. I don't know. I see it more like coming out of a lethargic state and becoming more aware. That's what I see it. And the more you do it, the more you're like, hold on, what the fuck is going on? Hold up. Yeah. It's like Star Trek when the ship's under fire and the captain's sitting there screaming out orders and whatnot, and he finally screams to Scotty, we need more power. Scott, I'm doing the best I can. That's this man right here. He the captain. He steering the ship. He waking up going, oh shit, hold up. He trying to talk to all the little parts and reestablish these connections. And I think that is what the awakening process is. And we're gonna go into that. I'm gonna explain mine, man. I gotta talk about that, man. I'm glad I started doing this. I'm glad I got people that want me to do this and give me encouragement about this. I want to thank all of y'all, all the people that watch the show. Please like, share, and subscribe. And yeah, I'm really here like, and like I said, part of this is I am a little selfish with it because the more I explain it to somebody, the more I understand it. So I want to understand it better. I want to talk to other people that I want to hear their opinions as well too. You know what I'm saying? Because there's a lot of information out there. I ain't privy to all of it. Not even close, man. There's a lot of people do a lot of research. And I just want this to be another one of the communities out there on the path to the truth. That's pretty much it. Like, yeah. That's why I do it. I got to get my story out. I got to be heard too. Like, everybody got a story to tell, man. And like, all these people out here speaking for us as a group, and like a lot of these people, I'll tell you quick, man, these people do not speak for me, man. Don't even lump me in these groups. Don't put me with this folk. Like, I don't care what you think I look like what you think I don't put me with these folk. I'm not with them. I'm not with them. I do my own thing. And that's crazy. Like, I had a group I was trying to, when I first woke up, I had about 3 or 4 people. I was trying to put them in a group and like group text so I didn't have to text everybody all at once. And they would like, one by one, they just all left the group. And I was like, see, this is the one thing about us. We don't like joining no groups, man. We don't like joining no groups. But yeah, anyway, man, like, just for me, hit the like, share, subscribe button, man. It don't cost you a thing. It's free. Ain't nobody coming after you. Ain't nobody stalking you, man. It's gonna help out the channel, help out the show. And like I said, I know I'm early in the game, man. I can't wait to go live, man. I can't wait to be live, dog. I can't wait to see how this thing take off for real, man. Yeah, and if you guys have any feedback, type it in the chat, like in the comments, and I should see it. So, with that being said, we're gonna call this one a day, man, and we're gonna come back next time, and we're gonna keep it pumping like we always do. This is your boy Cole Brown. Peace to you and all you other Nagas out there, and we're gonna see y'all next time right here on the Cole Brown Show. And remember this, I love you. If you ain't heard it no other time today, you heard it right here. I love you. All right. Peace.